Hello and welcome back to another one of my videos. And if you're new here, welcome. This is the vegan remix. I make videos about vegan foods and vegan baking. Today I want to teach you how to make pizza on the barbecue. I'm going to be making my dough from scratch. However, you can use store-bought bases. This is the kind we normally buy when we buy them. They're cauliflower bases. They're thin bases, generally is what we go for. For this video, or to make this yourself, you're going to need a pizza stone. We have two. We have this round one and a square one. I will link down below a link to one, however, I'm not sure it'll be the same as the ones we have. They last forever. They're probably a little bit of an investment, but they make the bottom of your pizza really crispy. How they work is you kind of heat them up first and then in the oven while your oven's preheating, and then when you're ready you chuck your pizza on. Then the bottom is hot so it cooks just as fast as the top does. But yeah, that is what we're going to be doing today. So let's get into the baking and I'll show you how I'm going to make the dough. If you're using store-bought pizza bases or you're using a different recipe to mine, feel free to jump to this time code so that you don't have to watch that and continue with the rest of the video, see how the pizza is made on the barbecue. The dough recipe I'm using is by Edmonds, and I'm going to be doubling it because I'm going to be making cinnamon rolls with it. And if you want to check out that video, it'll be up next week. So I'm going to start with a whole kilo of plain all-purpose flour. And then you're going to want 2 teaspoons of salt. And for those that didn't know, salt actually controls yeast. It is what stops it from overproving and overrising. Yeah, basically acts as a control. Then you've got 3 teaspoons of yeast. This is the doubled recipe, by the way, and I will link the recipe down below if you want to follow it too. Then you're going to want 100 ml of oil, but first we're going to quickly give these dry ingredients a whisk. Also, generally speaking, you don't want your yeast to touch salt because it basically kills it. That's how it controls it. So once the yeast is finished rising, and depending on how much salt to yeast you put in, will depend on how much something rises. 100 ml of oil and 600 ml of lukewarm water. You want your water to be lukewarm so that it activates the yeast, because yeast likes warm environments, but you don't want it to be too hot because that will cause the yeast to die off as well. Once you have all your ingredients in, you're going to use a stand mixer and knead the dough, starting on slow speed for a couple minutes till everything comes through, and then push it up to fast speed or faster speed to get it kneading for about 5 minutes. Okay, so it's been going for about 5 to 6 minutes. So I'm going to check on it. It will be slightly sticky, the dough, which is completely fine. If you feel like it needs a tiny bit more flour, you can add a little bit. Now we're going to check the dough. We're checking to make sure that the gluten is developed. So it's called the window pane test. You basically take a small piece of dough and you gently stretch it apart, like so, and you're trying to get it to a point where you can see through it a little bit like that without it pulling and breaking. So it's starting to break there, but it's pretty much there. So I probably would give this maybe 1 more minute, if that, and it'll be ready for the next step. So the next step is basically putting it in an oil bowl and covering it and letting it rise at room temperature for 1 to 2 hours, or in a warm place for about half an hour to an hour. But yeah, I'm going to give this 1 more minute and then we'll chuck it in an oil bowl and cover it up. Alright, so I'm taking it out of the bowl here just so that I can reuse the same bowl and lightly oil this one. Not going to need that anymore. It also allows me to shape it into a ball a lot easier on the bench than in the bowl. As I said, the dough will be a little sticky. This is probably slightly sticky, but when you rub it against each other, it comes off the walls. So I'm fairly happy I've got most of that out. I'm now going to lightly oil this bowl, and then we're going to gently knead this into a ball. Just oiling it either with a paper towel or my hand, like this. This bowl is probably going to be too small because it's going to double in size, but I'll check on it at an hour. Now that we've got something that sort of resembles a ball and it is nice and smooth to the touch, so it's not like a textured or grainy dough, going to chuck it in the bowl and chuck a tea towel over top. We'll come back to it in an hour or so. Right, after your pizza dough is rested for the hour or two, or in my case I put it back in the fridge because I wanted it for tonight, you're going to divide it up into the amount of pizzas you're going to be having. 1 times the recipe will make about 4 larger, thinner based pizzas. If you want smaller pizzas, it could make about 6. If you want thicker pizzas, maybe only 3. So lightly flour a surface, divide up your dough, and then just roll them out into a circle. Either using a rolling pin, using your hands, any sort of technique. Depending on how thick you like your base will depend on how much you roll it out. The pizza dough will rise a little bit, so if you prefer a thinner base, I'd recommend rolling them out quite thin. So because I know I want mine really thin, I'm going to roll it out on a piece of baking paper for the last little bit, just so that it's a little bit easier to move around later without stretching it too much and breaking it. Baking paper also makes it easier for me to transfer it to the stone when I'm ready to cook. And that's that. And then it's time to put the sauce on and decorate it, and then I'll show you how to, then we'll put it on the barbie, on the pizza stones. It is another day. Luckily for me, we had some leftover pizza dough, so I'm going to be making them again. I made them last time, the dough was really good, but we'll make them again and put it on camera so you can see. But yeah, so it's another day. Same thing, we're still making pizzas, and we're going to continue from where I left off. So let's turn the barbecue on, and then we'll put them in here with the pizza stones. After you've rolled out your pizza, you start with pizza base sauce, tomato sauce or aioli. For the longest time I didn't like tomato paste. I'm still not a big fan, so I use tomato sauce and barbecue sauce. But I used to just have aioli based pizzas. So if you don't like tomato paste, I recommend trying it. Whatever base you're using, put it on, give it a mix. My pizza, I like thinner bases, so I've rolled it nice and thin. If you like thicker bases, roll yours a little bit thicker, or buy thicker bases. Also, depending on how much crust you like, depends on how close to the edge you go. Not too worried about having lots of crust, so we'll go quite close. Fairly even spread around. Now we start adding the cheese and toppings. Now I think there's a lot of debate around which way around this goes, but I'm going to go cheese and then toppings and maybe a touch extra cheese on top. This time around I'm using the VZ vegan pizza blend. This one sometimes melts, sometimes doesn't, isn't the best cheese. you'll see when it comes out. I alternate between two types. This is the type that is more on the fence. It may melt, it may not melt. So I'm going to put a healthy amount because I know that there's a good chance it's not going to melt on me. I'm ready for the too much cheese comments. Then I'm going to put some capsicum on my pizza. I'm also going to put some onion on. I probably could have put the onion on before the cheese, but nonetheless. The last thing I'm going to be adding before cooking is some vegan sausage that I have already chopped up. And then just sprinkle with some Italian herbs. And a little bit of garlic powder. To the barbecue. So here I can see that the barbecue is quite hot. It's over 300. So we're going to chuck the pizza on straight away. I'm going to open it up, slide it on. I'm going to leave it on the baking paper just so that we can get it off nice and easy, and I know that this pizza base sticks. So let's do that. It's my pizza stone. Try and do this one-handed. I don't know how much of that you actually saw because my hand was off to the side. But there we go. Now we say goodbye and we come back in 10 to 15 minutes. Maybe not even that long. Once it's looking ready and crispy on the bottom, you take it off. I have this fancy pizza scoop that is hard to use with one hand. Pop it on my tray and we'll cut it up and try it. And don't forget to turn your barbecue off. So it's come out of I've just added some extra spinach and avocado on top, and now I'm gonna try it. I've had it before, I know it's really good, but just for you to see, I'm also gonna show you the bottom really quick. So it's nice and crispy on the bottom because we put it on the barbecue. Highly recommend. My cheese is somewhat melted, but not really. My whole family, like, the base is incredibly thin, which is why it's so thin, but so good. And yeah, the barbecue is just the best way to do pizza. You won't be changing my mind on that. However, that is all I have for you today, so I hope you have enjoyed. I hope you consider trying pizza on the barbecue. It's a little bit of an investment to get the pizza stones at first, but yes, we were in the car. This is my third time trying to finish this video, or like attempt to finish this video. First time I got most of the way through it, got distracted, didn't actually get the cooking of the pizzas and tasting. Then I got the cooking of the pizzas and most of the way through the tasting, and then the outro cut out halfway through, or some of my outro video clip is gone, so now we have to finish that. So I started saying that the cooking pizzas on the barbecue is a really good simple way. We've had so many compliments as a family before just at how good the pizzas are when they come off the barbecue and you use the pizza stones. The only thing is the pizza stones can be a little bit of an investment at first, but for someone like us and our family who get a lot of use out of them, it's worth it, and they're only something like $30 a stone, so pretty worth it. And you can also use them in the oven. You don't only have to use them on the barbecue. But yeah, other than that, I say they're perfect. They make really good pizza. As you can see, my pizza, which is vegan, that is why the cheese does not melt very well. But I just want to say thank you so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed. Please consider hitting that subscribe button and the bell notification icon so you get notified when I upload. If you have any video suggestions, I'd love to hear them in the comments, or if you have anything to say, I do check the comments, so please feel free to comment something down below. And that is all I have for you today, so hopefully I'll see you all in the next video.
Not okay. Until then. All I want, and I pray, all I need are some better days. Yeah, all I need are some better days. Cause all I want, and I pray, I believe in the better days.